So if you've been researching some of this, you hear these things of Nasara, Jasara, okay? And some people want to say, you need to say Gasara. Well, okay, chill out, okay? Because you can say it either way. There's two different ways to say that. And Nasara is National Economic Stabilization and Reformation Act. Well, Jasara means a global issue. So here's how it basically works. As Trump gets back in office here soon, he might have if you're watching this video right now, but as he gets back in office, Nasara, and it might not be exactly stated that wording, okay, but that will kind of come back because it was already signed into law actually by Bill Clinton in 2000. And it was supposed to be enacted during the Bush era, but Bush and Cheney weren't even in the office on 9/10 or 9/11. And 9/11 was supposed to be the Nasara era, and guess what? We had the 9/11 towers. Not by accident. Okay. But Nasara is firstly about changing over the constitutionality. The constitutionality. So for instance, we've been living under admiralty law, which is the laws of the elitists. Okay? I don't want to get into the wording of that, but you'll understand that. You know, they change it based upon whatever they want it to mean, whatever they want it to say, right? And that's why you've never felt a fairness, a justice when you go into court cases. Every once in a while, you get a fair court case. You get a just court case. But too many times, you have felt when you watch legal proceedings or you watch judges, you see that their bias that is so deep. And then they use these laws and these little tiny, caveats. And you're saying, this is gross. Well, that's one part of that issue. The second part of the issue is those elitists who have been doing crimes against humanity are going to be out on their ear, and they're never going to be able to get their money. Even right now, Gates and Bezos have, gone through the divorces with their wife, which is so crazy how it happened. They're getting out of their corporations and all these other things because they want to put their money over with them, but they're not going to get it back, okay? Because I think it's Executive Order 13818 indicates that they cannot get that back. They can't borrow the money. They can't switch it around. So they're going to lose that money. So what Nasara basically is flipping the cash in the fiat currency of the Federal Reserve. And you're going to shove it off the cliff through Trump. I mean, that thing is going to go into bankruptcy, but it's not going to mess the whole country up because what he did is he brought in more than 286 million ounces of gold, even more than that. That was my last check. But they brought in so much gold and they're just going to flip it right over into the gold standard. Well, this actually happened on the reverse in 1933 when FDR did that same idea, flipped it from a gold standard to a fiat currency. But now we're going to see it go from a fiat to a gold standard. Now, we're going to answer more about that here in a little bit. But once we take care of our stuff, I mean, America's got to be first. And you might think, there you go, you Americans always just doing it yourself first. Here's the reality. The economy is driven of the world through America. So, I mean, massive debts that are happening in America are higher than anything else. See, we struggled with this when Greece went through its own bankruptcy in 2009, and it almost crippled the EU. But if America went through a bankruptcy, it would wipe out the entire world. The reality is that America has about $80 trillion of debt, whereas the world has about $40 trillion of debt. They're not operating on the same level of debt issues. You have to fix Nasara first. Then we move in to Jasara. And if you don't understand what Trump was doing in his first term, he went from nation to nation to nation.